So let me just get started with the session. We just have 3 minutes before the next session starts. And hi and welcome to everyone here. I was out for an hour, so it's really interesting to see a lot of new participants. And let me just quickly share my screen. Hi. So welcome to the 24-hour Equinox Share-a-thon, and it's a first-time initiative from Polar Educators International. I'm fairly new to it. Pia is here, who's been there right through, and what we've put together is an amazing list of speakers from different places, and because of the time zone difference, we took it upon us to make sure that we had quite a few recordings in place so that people get to sleep. And we have a few live participants. And what we did also put together was a small trailer about Polar Educators. And here we go.
Polar Educators International is connecting educators, polar researchers, and communities for a better understanding of polar knowledge. Earth's polar regions are remote, beautiful, and challenging places, and they have a profound influence on every one of us. We know these vast amounts of snow, forming ice sheets, sea ice, and glaciers, together with massive currents of cold water, contribute dramatically to the climate and ecosystems of our world, systems which in turn drive the health of our local environments and communities. Research shows dramatic change in the Antarctic, in our mountainous regions, and particularly in the Arctic, home to over 4 million people, which is changing faster than anywhere else on Earth. Scientists are confirming that human activity is playing a significant role in these systems, increasing the planet's surface temperature in ways that cannot be balanced out by natural processes. It is clear the urgency to engage the next generation in polar research and to rise to the challenges that a changing climate will bring has never been greater. United in our passion for sharing the importance and value of the polar regions, educators and researchers from around the world have formed PEI, an essential global network developing polar knowledge to engage a global audience facing climate change. We are collaborating to strengthen this community, building resources and relationships, and helping local audiences connect polar research to their everyday lives. Polar Educators International amplifies the voices of all those dedicated to understanding and protecting our extraordinary polar regions, and all Earth's inhabitants, for generations to come. Join us.
I'm trying to work with it to make that super clear. And I think as it's presented now, it's not clear. So you're not alone.
So that was just a small presentation that we had put together. And something interesting that I just noticed is most of the footage was before COVID, and you don't see too many masks out there anymore. But yeah, so one of the things that that I think is critical is most of the events and conferences so far have been in the hybrid or the online mode. And we're gearing up for PEI Iceland conference. And I can honestly say that the last PEI conference at Cambridge was the first one which I attended. And I've been hooked on to PEI ever since. And I've had the good fortune of meeting a lot of researchers and scientists. And I'll be welcoming one on board today. I had the fortune of meeting Agata there and also at the Edu-Arctic conference, the final one. And if you have any questions during the session, we also have a live Slack channel and there'll be people happy to take your questions. And most importantly, to possibly, let me just admit a few more people inside. There's not much I would want to say about Agata, but I think she's been there in education projects for at least 3 to 4 years that I've been part of Polar Education, and I think some of the wonderful initiatives that she had taken, and some I witnessed during the Edu Arctic, and I think today she's there with us to talk about inspiring students for Arctic careers and introducing the INTAROS toolkits for schools. Over to you, Agata.
Thank you very much, Ram. Yeah, in fact, I've been involved in some educational initiatives since 2011, so 10 years now. We started with a national initiative, but we quite fast realized that it would be good to bring it to the European level. So yeah, the idea was to do that on bigger scale. And what we also found out is that the Arctic, because I'm from the Institute of Geophysics, so geophysics is quite wide in all these natural sciences, but we found out quickly that the Arctic is bringing attention of students much more than any other part of geophysical research that we conduct in our institute. Okay, I would need some help with sharing my screen because I've got information that it's disabled for me. So if you could...
I'm just making you a co-host and you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay, now I should be able, yeah. Okay, so just let me know if you see my screen now.
Perfect.
Okay, great. Yeah, so today, even though Ram introduced me with Edu Arctic project, which my heart is there, of course, but I'm involved in some other initiatives as well. And today I would like to say a few words about INTAROS toolkits. So INTAROS is an European project founded to focus mainly on monitoring of Arctic regions. But in fact, even if we know that monitoring is crucial and we want to know more and better understand the whole ecosystem, we also know that dissemination and education is fairly equal and important. So thanks to that, thanks to understanding this importance, INTAROS asked us also to prepare some materials in this part. There are some partners who are working mainly on university level or some trainings for young scientists and researchers. And we were focusing on secondary schools, as this is our experience also from the previous initiatives. So today I will speak a little bit about this program and these two toolkits that we developed. So yeah, in the video that was introductory, in fact, it was said that the Arctic is undergoing the most rapid changes in the climate system worldwide, and the changes are also affecting all the other places in the globe. And scientists say that the Arctic is warming twice as much. However, we run a station. It's a year-round station on Svalbard. The station is called Hornsund, Polish Polar Station Hornsund, and we are measuring some meteorological parameters longer than 40 years now. It's everyday measurements. In fact, now it's ongoing measurements. So we have long series of temperature observations, and our scientists calculated that for Svalbard, this change is even 6 times higher than for the worldwide average. So it's really drastic and dramatic, and we see that both marine and terrestrial ecosystems are changing. We see how the sea ice extent is decreasing every year now, and thawing permafrost in terms of terrestrial part is a big problem, but we also know about subsea permafrost that is not yet well researched and investigated. So we still do not know many things about this ecosystem. And also those changes are also affecting the atmospheric and ocean circulation, which make significant changes and some extreme weather that we may observe also in our geographical attitude. So it's not only a question of those 4 million people living there, but it's a question of every citizen in the globe. So the extreme weather situations we could observe anywhere at the moment, the sea level change, coastal erosion, or other natural hazards, which are appearing not only up north, but in any place in the globe. So European Commission wanted to address somehow the challenges, and then they dedicate quite big budgets to develop efficient systems of observing of the Arctic. So that was the main aim of INTAROS. And I would like to show you a short trailer from INTAROS to introduce you to that. I hope it will work. Okay. I think.
We've heard thousands of stories of people.
Okay, now it should work. I hope you will be able to hear the voice as well. Okay, I hope you had this flavor of the Arctic. In fact, this year I had the pleasure to go to Svalbard to see again this beautiful place. And as I'm seated in Warsaw, it gives me always a lot of power to work on further on some new resources and materials. Okay, so coming back to INTAROS toolkits, so the idea was to produce some materials dedicated to secondary schools, teachers and students, to enhance literacy of Arctic observations. So we know that there are many polar materials available, including the great polar book of resources that is currently also being updated and will be in a more interactive form done by Polar Educators International. But not many of them are dedicated to monitoring and field works. So the idea here was to include real-life examples of field campaigns and observations to show how is it to work in the Arctic, in the fields, what kind of tasks we may expect if we are researchers working on polar research. And thanks to that, to inspire interest of youngsters in thinking about scientific career and specifically scientific career connected with the Arctic. So we created 2 educational toolkits. They are containing some materials that were developed specifically for INTAROS, like we have 4 videos with researchers. 3 of them were recorded in our Polish Polar Station on Svalbard, and 1 was done in Greenland by one of the partners in INTAROS. We have other videos as well and some graphics from field campaigns. We developed INTAROS Marine Taboo game. If you are familiar with Taboo, I would like to offer this game today to you, as it's, at least in Warsaw, it's quite late. It's the evening, so probably only listening to some talks won't be that engaging. So I've got something for you. I hope to find a volunteer for that, so we could play this short game also in a while. And we also included some really good video products that were available, like National Geographic videos or World Meteorological Observation video or TED lesson, and Polarpedia resources. Polarpedia, some of you may know already, it's an online encyclopedia on polar resources. It was translated to several languages. We developed that within the EduArctic project, and it's still available and working. So we may use the resources from this source in any educational materials. But we also wanted to make these toolkits as something that will engage students, not only lectures and materials to be displayed, but also something that makes them active. So we are using a GRASP platform. This is a platform that was developed in one of the educational European projects, Golab. It finished some years ago, but the platform is still there, and it offers many tools useful for teachers. So I encourage you to check the platform. The materials are available in the online version, so you may play with your students using the platform, and they may do it as well as homework in any place where they got internet connection. So we used some of the tools that were available in GRASP, so like mind maps or quizzes, some input boxes, and the Marine Taboo game was developed specially for this purpose. And as I mentioned, we have 2 toolkits, the terrestrial monitoring and marine monitoring. The terrestrial one is divided into 6 parts. Welcome to the Arctic contains some general information about the Arctic, its borders and living conditions for those kids that are not from there. So living as kids in Poland, for instance. And then we have Arctic observations part dedicated to observations conducted in INTAROS and why it's important to have integrated system and what kind of information we can get out of such observations. Working in the Arctic part is dedicated to what is observed, what are the main ways of collecting of data, how can we deal with data, what is necessary to do that. Then we have some Arctic career opportunities, and there are some examples of jobs that could be conducted in the Arctic. So it aims to familiarize with researchers' work at polar stations. Then we've got want to be a polar researcher part, and it's dedicated to show some example like meteorologists, geomagnetic observer, hydrochemists, glaciologists, geologists, and geomorphologists. These are the positions that are really wanted at the Polish Polar Station. So I took it directly from what is needed, and a wrap-up session with some exercises and such things. You may find this toolkit on Golab platform because it was published. So any teacher could use it, could change anything inside, could make it visible or hide some sessions. I will let you know also, I will show that how to deal with the package from the technical point of view, from the perspective of teacher who would like to adapt it to your own needs or to possibilities of your students. So basically you go to Golab, if you type terrestrial monitoring, you will find this package, some general information about the package, and then by clicking duplicate space, if you have an account on Golab, then you are just immediately having this material on your own space. And then you may adapt it and change or hide some parts or add some parts if necessary. The second toolkit is dedicated to marine monitoring. We have also here 6 sections. So welcome to the Arctic Ocean also is an introduction to the Arctic Ocean and some importance and uniqueness of the Arctic Ocean, but it shows all 5 oceans so that students may drop some short information about all 5 oceans. Why sea ice is so important? We have here a very nice ice chart, interactive chart from the Arctic and Antarctic from NOAA observation system. And here is also a very, very interesting TED lesson dedicated to why we speak about positive feedback loop in terms of melting sea ice and in terms of albedo. Then we've got working in the field. So we are coming again back to the marine observations and where they are crucial, what kind of parameters could be measured here. In the Let's Play session, we have this Tabo game, and Wrap-up session is the last one. And again, it's available on Golab. So we may go type marine monitoring and then duplicate space and have this material in your own space on Grasp platform. And I would like to show you how it looks from the perspective of the student. And in fact, I've got a link here, but it's not visible. I will try to copy that copy that to chat so that you may go directly to that. I will also do that. I hope it works for you. Let me know. So you've got here these 6 sections. This time we have this marine monitoring here. So I would like to ask you to do the first task so that it's named the frame, and you are supposed to drag and drop information on the area of each of the ocean. And when you've done it, you click on this mark here and you will get some additional information. So please do it, please play with it shortly. And I will show you in a moment what the teacher may see out of that. So because teacher may evaluate all the results from students. So I will just go to the version, no, sorry, it's here, to the version of the teacher. So this is what teachers see, and we have these sections. We may always hide them, like clicking here, or unhide if we want. And yeah, going to this section and going to members, I may see who was using this material. So for instance, Ram, if I may, if you don't mind, I will check your answers here, because I know that you did it just now and the previous names could be from, yeah, so you already have two information here. So this is what Ram did. So we may also check polar bear, because probably it's also the person that did it just now. And I see that it's fully done. So as a teacher, you may ask your students to do it as a homework, and doing it as a homework, then you may check all the results. So this is really useful tool for teachers. I also want you to check a little bit. This is a great TED lesson, but I'm not going to play that at the moment. But if you have time, great explanation of what is going on in terms of melting sea ice and how it affects the albedo and how then it affects back the temperature in the Arctic. So it's really nice, around 6 minutes video worth showing to your students. But what is also a very nice tool is this Charctic interactive sea ice graph. And you may check Arctic sea ice extent here and check, decide on the year which you want to investigate. So students may even took their own year of birth and even the day and check particular dates and compare to the average or from various years, or the minimum, the record minimum is always here, 2012. So you may ask them to do various analysis of what's happening with sea ice and why the minimum is in September, whereas they may think that it's in July, because July is the warmest month. However, still in August and still half of September, the ice is melting up there. So there are many things that you can done with this chart. So yeah, I encourage you to go through that and check what's there. But meanwhile, I would like one volunteer who likes word games, and maybe if you know the taboo game and the rules of taboo, that would be perfect. But if not, I will explain that. And if anyone could write on chat that is willing to get the material, because I would basically need one volunteer and the rest of the group, we will be guessing. And the idea is that there is a word that should be guessed, and there are some taboo words or phrases. So something that cannot be used to explain. And all these terms are connected with marine observations and the Arctic. So if we have a volunteer, please write on chat. And yeah, Josephine, your yay means that you would like to try?
No, I was happy to be the polar bear.
Okay. Yeah. Be brave and try, because it's really a nice game, and I hope we will have fun with that. So I need one volunteer. Ram I sent you on Slack. I sent you the file. So once we have a volunteer, then we could start. Ram will share with this one person the file.
I can try, but I don't know exact rules.
Yeah, I will show you the rules, and there will be also written in the file you get. It was Natalia, or yeah. Ram, do you have the email address to send to Natalia?
I'm trying to send it on the chat here. Let me see if it works.
No, but the problem is that no one else should see that. So it's only
Natalia. Yeah, I'm just trying it in a direct message. So
okay,
if it goes.
Okay. Yeah, if it's possible, then it would be perfect. I may try as well if it's, but I'm not sure if you may. if you may send via chat. But if
Yes, it is a possibility to send it directly in chat.
okay, so Ram, you are sending the file, yeah?
Yeah, I'll just send it across. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me just see.
While I will show you the rules because I've got the file here as well. Okay, so the tab rules are that. It's quite easy. One person draws a card, but in our case, Natalia will draw all the cards. And on the card, you've got one word and you need to describe it so that the other players can guess it. So we all, except for me, because I know the terms, will be guessing. And you cannot use any part of the word and nor the synonyms. And you cannot use the prohibited words, which are listed on each term. So I will be checking basically what's there. I will stop sharing my screen maybe for a moment so that I will be able to check the words. And Natalia, now you may, if you received the file, you should have
I'm waiting for a file because we have to do this for email.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just sharing it over G Drive, so just check your email.
Okay, so maybe I will just let you know, I will give you an example. So the first card will be used. So the term is salinity, and the prohibited words are sea, salt, salty, and ocean. So you need to explain what salinity is, but not using these prohibited words. So these are the rules. And we've got 18 terms, but the first was used to explanation. So we'll have 17 terms. Let's try it with 7 or 10. We will see how it goes.
Okay, so I received it, and
Perfect.
okay, so I have to describe the words
Yeah,
and
it,
not use those.
Not using these prohibited, which are under the line.
Okay.
And we all try to guess. Please try hard.
Okay, so this is a big area, big land in the northern hemisphere that belongs to Denmark.
Perfect.
Greenland.
Yes, super.
Exactly.
Okay.
Next one.
Yeah.
Okay, so it is an organism living in the ocean. It is very common in worldwide cuisine, but it is not a fish. Really tiny and like swims active.
Agata is going to give a word limit for her next.
Yeah, I see here shrimp. Yes, I've got this message.
Colleen has got it. Yeah.
Yeah, Colleen got it. Yeah, very well. Yeah, I'm looking at the terms and not on chat, so that was the reason not to. Yeah. Okay. So the next one.
It's gonna be hard.
You may have explanation from the lecture. So if we were talking about that, you may somehow use some information.
So we like Polish Horns Station in Svalbard is based on this exactly, but this is floating. And it also is not a liquid, and it is white.
Yeah, the explanation is really good. Yeah, eyes closed, but it's floating.
It is floating, so it is specific. type of this.
Yes, Josephine, yes, exactly. Sea ice. Very good. Very good.
So the next one word is it's a tiny like compound of organisms that sometimes like swim active, sometimes not. They eat phytoplankton.
Yeah, but in fact, should not be used as a part of the word.
This should not be used.
Yeah, a part of that, because you cannot use some part of if there is something
Okay.
itself. Okay, but
Okay.
yeah,
Sorry.
try with the other one, no problem.
Continue or skip the word.
Yeah. Or you may, yeah, no, skip the word and take another one. You may also use something that appeals to you more, so that it's easier for you to explain. So not necessarily in the order.
Right. So those are probably like the like giant creatures that are not fish. They have fins, but they evolve differently.
Yes, whales. Great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to have one more try?
Yes, I can.
We are quite good as a group with guessing what's there. So I'm really impressed.
Okay, this is hard, but I will try. This is a type of measure that researchers do on small microorganisms that are part of a photosynthesis system. They are in a liquid, and this kind of method is used also to like filtrate the water. I don't know how to say it differently. What can I say more? Any ideas?
We've got here this tiling, and it's writing that didn't catch the first clue.
So the first clue was that it is a type of method to explore what is in the water, but like it also uses circulation of it and gravity to divide the organisms, and like it involves like water to be liquid. It like goes to that tank, and it just moves like in a clockwise and round and round and round to like divide those photosynthesis producing organisms to filtrate the water. Still no.
It's not.
Like it is. I think this is the method, but like a. This is hard. It is really hard.
Okay, and in fact, I'm not sure also which one do you mean. So I will just ask: is this turbidity you mean?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So it was really hard to explain. Yeah, thank you very much, Natalia. You were really great in that. So yeah, I'm really impressed, especially that it's not easy to explain in your not native language. So it's additionally difficult always. I will show you the game. So just let me share the screen again. So this was the game. So we had, like, here is the explanation, and then we have 9 cards and 9 more. So you may cut it and distribute to students, and every student may have 1 card to explain to make it more engaging to everyone. But yeah, Natalia was really great with that, and the group was engaged. So thank you very much for this. That went really well. Okay, so what I also promised you to show you how to deal with it from the perspective of the teacher. So you know already that if someone is doing it as a homework, or even during the classes with normal classes, or during online lessons in case of lockdown, cross fingers not to have lockdown again, but if we have this remote education, then teachers may use it as well and see in the real time how advanced are students, what are the problems, where to give more explanation. So I think it's really useful. So you saw the marine toolkit, and now let's go to toolkit terrestrial monitoring. So what to do if you want to have this material in your own space. So as I mentioned, you click on duplicate space. Then Golab asked me to connect it with my Grasp account. It's free for anyone to create an account on Grasp. Oh, I need to put my... I think my internet connection is not that good. And it takes some time to connect, but I hope it will take us there. Okay, so now I have it in my own space. What I can do with that, I may see that as students see. So this is what we did with marine, but now we've got terrestrial part. So there are some information, some videos, as I mentioned. We have some additional video here. We've got the concept mapper, so we may create, based on the ideas from the toolkit, we may create our own mind map. We have some videos from Svalbard. So here is the location of our station, and then we've got, maybe I will show you one of the videos.
Our main task as a meteorologist is, of course, to observe the weather. So we systematically collect, archive, and forward to the appropriate institution data of the meteorological condition that we observe here at our station and in its vicinity. So we collect the data on the atmospheric pressure, the air temperature, the soil temperature, the cloud cover, not only the amount of cloud cover, but also types of cloud and the altitude at which they occur. So also we assess the visibility, note all the phenomena and processes take place in the atmosphere, from precipitation to the phenomena like aurora borealis. So also we collect information about the wind direction, wind speed, amount of sunshine, and also about the humidity. So during the winter season, we measure the thickness of the snow cover and also assess the condition of the snow. What's more, in the recent years, more and more information is collected automatically. That's why we have to care for the proper operation of these devices. They don't have an easy life under this harsh condition here in Horsund, so we have to clean them, and if it's necessary, and have the search opportunities, fixed what has broken down. Data is used for weather forecasting, mainly supply and verification of the mathematical weather models, and also for scientific studies in the field of meteorology, climatology, and hydrology. All this information is of great value because we have one of few year-round meteorological stations in the Arctic. Greetings from Horsund.
Okay, so now I cannot come back to that. Sorry. Okay, so after each video, we have a short video and then some small task to students to do, and in various types, input boxes or quizzes. And yeah, so here it's how it works. We have a wrap-up session with some name the frame activity that you already know and some quiz. And if we want to change anything from that, we may hide some parts if we think that, for instance, it will be too difficult or we do not have that much time. We may add materials, we may hide some things inside. So if we go to this part, we can anytime hide particular item or the whole session. And if we want to share that, we have this show standalone view or get short link that we just are sending to our students so that they may do all the tasks inside. So I think that's all from my side. Here are again the links to the toolkits. And if you have any questions, I'm at your disposal.
I have a question for like only INTAROS project. Is it like worldwide, or is it only like for students from Poland?
No, in fact, INTAROS is a worldwide, it's European project dedicated to research mainly. So this educational part is one of the rather tiny components of the whole project. So they are mainly focusing on field work and monitoring of various parameters, both in terms of sea and land in the Arctic. And the toolkits are just to familiarize students with what kind of field work and monitoring could be done in the Arctic. But the materials are widely available. They are published online. So any school, any teacher may use them freely with no problem. So there are no restrictions at all. They are on common license. It means also that they could be adapted, changed, and used as it's convenient for teachers.
I was also participating in a competition like for EduArctic.
Okay.
And is it like some kind of interconnected with INTAROS?
Yeah, so in fact, we are partners in INTAROS project. So the Institute of Geophysics, we are the partners. But it's the two projects are different and they are separate from each other. But in fact, thanks to our experience in the EduArctic projects, we were asked by INTAROS to prepare this material. So this is somehow we are basing on our experience from previous initiatives.
Fantastic. Agata, I had a couple of questions.
Yeah, sure.
One was related to, it's been a couple of years since we met. So how has COVID changed research in Europe is one, and how has it changed the mode of education delivery? Is the online still effective as compared to an offline scenario? And where do you think the challenges are in the upcoming years?
Yeah, so in terms of research, the last year was extremely difficult for our institute in terms of polar research, because there was no group from the institute that could come to Svalbard, to our station, except for the overwintering team. So as the station is year-round operating, we needed to send overwintering team to change the people working there. So in June, July, we are usually changing the teams, and that was done. However, no other research team could go there. So the only year that we started, or we reopened some monitoring programs that are done not year-round, but on different grants and projects with scientists from our institute, it was this year. So we were also planning to go with a team that won the competition. Arctic PL organized competition for adults, this time not students, but it was not connected with schools, it was for general public. And 6 people won the competition, and we wanted to bring them to the Arctic last year, but unfortunately we couldn't. So, but this year we were lucky to take 2 editions there. So we had 12 people taken there for 8 days of measurements, excursions, trips. We were inside the glacier cave and many things. We saw polar bears, reindeers, whales. So and on the way back on the vessel, they also see northern lights. So they were so happy after that. But as regards education system, I see this from different perspective. One thing, we were always doing something online. So in the EduArctic project, we had online activities, and that was normal for us to have this online activity. However, not all the schools were used to that. And we had many schools collaborating with us, but on occasionally basis. And after the lockdown started and all schools needed to switch to remote education, we had very big interest in our lessons. So we were doing like 20 various webinars each week and repeating some of them many times. So for us, it was even more work than normally. But once the situation was, once teachers used to the remote learning, they switched to normal lessons as it was necessary for the curriculum. But from the perspective of mom, I've got 2 daughters in secondary school. It was extremely not effective. I mean, this remote learning, because students, especially kids in 6th grade, it was my older daughter, she was just attending but not engaged at all. So she was just maybe listening or even not listening, but she was present on the webinar. So basically I found this, especially if it's hour by hour, it's fine if it's one hour in many classes that are done normally, then this online is something new and attractive and something different. But if it's only online education, then it's extremely difficult for young people to get attention and to be involved and engaged for the whole time. So my perspective,
probably need to play more taboo on online.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but if it's only the lecture, then it's the problem that they are just switching to other things, and they are not in the classroom. The teacher sees such examples and may do something about that. And in the remote education, especially if the cameras were turned off, and that was the case in many situations of Polish children, then the teacher even didn't know. So he or she was asking to do some tasks, and how to control that, it was difficult. So that is also one of the advantage of this Golab platform and the tools, that you may monitor the results of work at the same time. So if you are asking to send some task to do, solve some task, then you may check if they are really working on that or not. So this is from my perspective and observing how the Polish school was doing with remote education. I believe such tools are useful.
Fantastic. Let me see if you have any other questions on chat or on Slack.
Yeah, I think I will stop sharing so that I may see some chat as well.
Sure. I think they're still on Taboo.
Yeah. Question to EduArctic, is it like ongoing still? It would be the next edition of it?
Yeah, in fact, we are having two projects right now, like follow-up of EduArctic. The one is EduArctic 2, and it's financed from EEA mechanism. So Norway, Liechtenstein, Iceland grants. And we are still conducting webinars. So in fact, I may say that the calendar of online lessons is really full. And there are also materials, not only online lessons, but also materials dedicated to the topics of online lessons. So on a GRASP platform, so the platform you saw already. And the other program is EduArctic PL, which is dedicated to Polish society. And it's not only for schools. I mean, schools may also use this opportunity, but it's for the whole society. So anyone can join. We've got their webinars, we've got articles, we've got some games and quizzes for kids and some events that are being organized. So basically we are still active. And as regards these webinars, we have also in English, so in EduArctic 2. So anyone is welcome to join.
And if it would be the next edition of like competition to this EduArctic like before?
Yeah, for the competition, unfortunately, we are not going to organize unless we get some funding from external sources, because it's extremely expensive to bring people to Svalbard for some research and time, like up to 10 days. So yeah, at the moment, we do not plan it, unfortunately. Maybe we will organize an edition dedicated to younger people, like 10 to 15, but the price will be not that big. So it won't be a Svalbard trip, but a trip to our observatories, geophysical observatories in Poland. But we had such groups and it went very well. So I hope to be able to organize a third edition of this competition for younger people, younger students.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Natalia. Thanks, Agata, so much for joining us, and it's been really wonderful. I played Taboo before, but I think it was a first-time experience for quite a few people here. And I think we should make it part of our regular PEI meetings as well. Maybe one word every
we could use it.
That would be interesting.
We could use it for a PEI conference in Iceland, if you wish. I may print it there. So
yeah.
I think Sophie might already be making plans.
Yeah,
thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you in the morning, Agata.
Yes.
Just to remind you. Lovely. Thank you.